Ask you, at what point did you know your husband needed to go to the hospital? Was it sudden? Was it something that you saw slowly and then it took a harsh turn? Tell me what happened there.
So he shared with me that on March 14th or 15th, he was not feeling well, like he was coming down with something.
So that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yes. He started with a fever on the 16th, chills and fatigue. The 17th, I took him to urgent care. They tested him for regular flu, which was negative. They did not have any coronavirus tests available at the urgent care. There were no kits. So they examined him, his lungs, his vital signs, everything was stable. And they gave him your typical rest, fluids, take Tylenol, Motrin, and call your doctor if things worsen. Wednesday, his fever seemed to break, and then it came back. And then Thursday, he started with a little cough and shortness of breath. At that point in time, we received an email from our family physician, the hospital that he's in, Cooper Health System, that they were opening a drive-through COVID testing site near our home. So Friday morning, the 20th, we called and we set up an appointment for him to be tested at 2 o'clock that afternoon. His shortness of breath and fatigue and everything else, continued. And I took him and I asked the nurse when she did the nasal swab, what should we do if this worsens? And she told us to contact our doctor and potentially he would need to go to the emergency room if it became severe. By 9 o'clock that evening, he was not in good shape. I called our doctor who spoke to both of us. They instructed us to go to the ER, which I did. I took him there. He had to walk in alone. They would not let me go in with him. And I watched through the window that they took his information and put him in a wheelchair and took him back. And I went back to my car to wait. I texted him to let him know that I was there and to, keep me posted about what was happening. And he texted me and told me that they took him back to a room to go home and that he loved me. And that was the last time I communicated with him. I haven't seen him since. Sorry, I'm very emotional right now.
Yeah, well.
Within about an hour and a half of him being in the emergency room doctor called me and told me he was critical. He had double pneumonia in both of his lungs, and they had to intubate him and put him on a ventilator. They were transferring him to the ICU. He's only 50 years old.
Amy.
He's a healthy guy, and this should not have happened. And if I had better information previously and not just thought, oh, this is only going to attack the elderly in such a severe way or people who have underlying medical conditions, I would have taken him to the ER on Thursday. I don't know how much it would have done, but, hindsight is 20/20, and the reason I'm speaking out is I want to get this information out to the public so that people of all ages take this seriously and they're looking for, the signs.
And Amy, I'm so grateful to you for sharing your story, hard as it is to hear, gotta say. But this is something that's happening all across the country. And maybe this plasma will be some sort of a life-saving revenue for many people. In the meantime, holding out the very best thoughts for you and Brett. We'll say a bunch of prayers for him and for you. Stay strong. Take care.